The first time I wasn't invited to Christmas with my wife's family. I brushed it off as a mix-up. The second time I told myself they probably assumed I was working. By the fifth year though it wasn't an accident, it was tradition. And my wife Anna went along with it every single time. It's strange how silence can sound heavier than shouting. That December morning as she packed her suitcase, carefully folding sweaters I'd bought her, humming faintly to a Christmas song on the radio, I realized how quietly she'd erased me from her life. "You sure you don't want me to drive you to the airport?" I asked, leaning on the doorframe trying to sound casual. Anna smiled, that soft, polite smile people use when they're already halfway out the door. "It's fine, Mark. My brother's picking me up. You'd just be bored there anyway. You hate snow." That wasn't true. I loved snow. I loved Christmas. I loved the idea of family gathered around a tree laughing, passing mugs of cocoa. Something I never had growing up. I'd hoped marriage would change that. When we first married, I thought her family's distance was just adjustment. But each year as December approached, the same story played out. They'd forget to include me in the group chat or fail to find enough space in the cabin they rented. Anna always promised to make it up to me when she got back. She never did. But this year something inside me snapped. In October I bought a mountain home. A beautiful secluded place tucked in the Colorado pines, 2 stories high, with wide windows that caught the morning light. I told Anna it was a business investment. A getaway for when I needed to work remotely. In truth, it was an experiment. I didn't tell her that the cabin was less than 20 minutes from where her family always spent Christmas. I wanted to really see what happened when she wasn't pretending. On December 22nd, I flew out quietly, 2 days before her trip. I left the lights off and the curtains drawn, settled in with my coffee and waited. Snow blanketed the world outside, soft and perfect. The next day, I saw their car pull into the lodge driveway through my binoculars. Anna stepped out, laughing. She looked different somehow, lighter, freer. A man came around the car to grab her suitcase. He was tall, maybe mid-30s, with the kind of easy charm that made people like him instantly. Anna touched his arm, lingering, familiar. My stomach twisted. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe he was a cousin. Maybe I didn't know everyone in her family. But when I saw her take his hand as they walked toward the cabin, I knew. She wasn't forgetting me. She was replacing me. I stayed awake that night, sitting by the dark window, heart hammering, trying to piece together how long it had been happening. Her late-night work calls. The new perfume she wore. The sudden obsession with fitness classes that didn't match her schedule. It all made sense now, but I wasn't ready to face it. The next evening, I drove down to the lodge. My breath fogged the windshield as I parked a few houses down. Laughter and music spilled from inside. Through the window I saw her. Anna sat near the fire, wearing the red sweater I'd given her last Christmas. The man sat beside her, his arm draped over her shoulders. She leaned into him, smiling in a way she hadn't smiled at me in years. Someone snapped a photo. She laughed, kissed the man's cheek. Felt like being punched. I drove back to my cabin on autopilot. For a long time I just sat there, staring at the empty fireplace, the gift I'd wrapped for her still on the table. A pair of diamond earrings shaped like snowflakes. She'd once told me she'd always wanted something elegant for the holidays. I thought of her smile when she said it. I thought of how she'd stop smiling like that around me. And I broke. The next morning, Christmas Day, I woke before dawn. I wasn't angry anymore. Just hollow. I packed the earrings into a small box, wrapped them again and drove down the icy road. By the time I reached the lodge, the family was outside taking pictures by the tree. Anna spotted me instantly. Her face drained of color. "Mark," she stammered, walking toward me, eyes wide. "What are you doing here?" "Merry Christmas," I said softly, holding out the gift. "You forgot to invite me again. So I thought I'd surprise you." The man beside her, David, I later learned, shifted awkwardly. Her father's expression tightened, but no one spoke. Anna forced a laugh. "Mark, this isn't a good time." Her voice shook. I glanced at David. He couldn't even meet my eyes. "You're right," I said quietly. "It never is." I turned to leave, but something in me refused to go just yet. "How long?" I asked, facing her again. "How long have you been doing this?" Her lips parted. "Mark." "Don't," I snapped. My voice cracked. Just tell me the truth, Anna. I saw you two. You didn't even try to hide it. Silence fell over the group. David looked away. Her mother bit her lip. Even her brother, who'd once called me family, stared at the snow. Finally, Anna whispered, 2 years. The words hit like shards of glass. 2 years. That meant last Christmas. And the one before that. When she came home and kissed me, told me she missed me, that was all part of the lie. I left without another word. Back at the mountain home, I packed my things. But before I left, I took one last look around. The untouched fireplace, the single mug on the counter, the silence pressing in like fog. This place had been meant for peace, for clarity. Instead, it showed me what love looks like when it's dying. I checked into a small inn down the road. That night, my phone buzzed. Anna. Please, can we talk? Anna. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. Anna, it wasn't supposed to go this far. I didn't reply. But hours later, she showed up at the inn. Her hair was still damp from the snow, her eyes red. She looked smaller somehow, stripped of all her confidence. Mark, she whispered. Please. I can explain. I let her in, though I didn't know why. Explain what? I asked, voice barely steady. That you fell in love with someone else? That every Christmas you told me your family didn't want me there. But it was really you who didn't. Tears streamed down her cheeks. It wasn't like that. He was just someone I could talk to. You were always so distant. Distant. I repeated, stunned. Anna, I spent years trying to get close to you. You're the one who shut me out. She covered her face with her hands, sobbing. I know I hurt you. I didn't know how to fix it. David listened. He made me feel wanted again. I never planned for it to become this. I stared at her, the woman I'd loved for 11 years, and felt the weight of every broken promise between us. I bought that cabin for us, I said softly. I wanted to surprise you this Christmas. I thought maybe if we had somewhere quiet, away from everyone, we could find our way back. She looked up, stunned. You bought it? Yeah, I said. I thought maybe your family would visit next year. I guess that's not going to happen. She broke down completely then, collapsing into a chair, her sobs echoing through the small room. For a moment I wanted to comfort her, to take her pain away like I always did. But something in me had changed. It wasn't anger anymore, it was acceptance. I'm filing for divorce, I said quietly. Her head snapped up. No. Please. Don't. I can't do this, Anna. Not again. You had years to choose me, and you didn't. She reached out, gripping my hand desperately. Mark, please. I made a mistake. I'll end things with him, I swear. We can fix this. But her words rang hollow. Too rehearsed. Too late. I hope you find what you're looking for, I said, pulling away. But it isn't me. I left the next morning, snow crunching under my boots, the world eerily quiet. As I drove away, I saw the mountain cabin disappear in the rearview mirror, swallowed by fog and pine. It struck me then how love doesn't end with a single betrayal. It dies slowly, through small forgettings, quiet absences, and half-truths told over years. For her, it ended the first time she left me out of Christmas. For me, it ended when I stopped waiting for her to come back. 2 years later, I still spend Christmas in the mountains. Alone but at peace. The house, my house, has become something new. Warm. Honest. Sometimes when the snow falls heavy and the world turns silent, I light the fire and pour a mug of cocoa. I think about what might have been, then remind myself of what I escaped. Love, I've learned, isn't about being chosen once. It's about being chosen again and again, even when it's inconvenient. And when someone stops choosing you, no matter how much it hurts, the only thing left to do is let them go.